Christian sex coach, and I am so excited to be with you today because we're going to be talking about how to have a healthy sex life. So, today I'm going to be giving you several different tips to help you out and to help everyone else out there. And so, if you wouldn't mind sharing out this video, whether you are on live or on the replay, because so many people in this world are still very uncomfortable with the sex conversation. That's why I am doing what I'm doing to help other people out. And the reason why I call myself a Christian sex coach is because in my world, in the Christian community, we make the sex conversation very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. It makes us feel dirty. We carry a lot of guilt and shame around our desires and fantasies. And when there is a problem that comes up in our relationships, we have a very hard time bringing the conversation to our partner, whether we are a male or female, because we, God forbid, don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So that's why I have so much passion in helping our community, because for 12 years, my husband and I were sexless in our marriage. And a big part of that was because both him and I grew up in a Christian home, and the sex conversation was off of the table. So if we ever had questions, and we would approach our parents or our grandparents or even our youth leader or friends that were our same age inside, like, youth group, they were also very uncomfortable. They didn't know how to help us. It was very, very difficult. So then when we got married and we started to have our own issues within our marriage, and we saw that it started to impact our sex life, we had nobody that we could go and talk to. So let me know if you relate to any of that in the chat. I'm super, super pumped. I see several people here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you are tuning in from. As you guys probably know, I'm in Santa Barbara, California. We are having some beautiful weather today. Blue sky, palm trees, nice breeze, which is pretty much almost every day for us. So I would love to see what everyone's saying. So let me just go over to the chat and say hello, hello, hello. I see everybody. I'm looking this way because the chat does not work over here where I'm doing the live. So let me just say hello and welcome, and feel free to say hi to me. I would love to know where you guys are tuning in from. Okay, so here are some tips that we're going to go over today. These are tips to help have a long-lasting marriage, a killer sex life, if you will. And really, the only way that you're going to have a long-lasting marriage is if your sex life is completely amazing, because sex in a committed relationship is one of the main things that's going to be the glue to help keep you guys together and connected on an emotional level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level, on a mental, emotional level, like all the things. So if you're not having sex, you're going to have a very hard time sustaining that relationship, because you're going to start to feel lonely, depressed, okay? And it's going to be easier for you to want to flirt with other people and cheat and then leave and divorce and all the things. So I am here to help you have long-lasting relationships with a killer sex life, with as much intimacy and sex as you can possibly imagine. Like, the sky's the limit, okay? And I really want you to start to think about your bedroom area of your relationship as being this place where you can be the most relaxed, the most being yourself, and having as much fun and adventure as you can possibly think of. And I want you guys to imagine that your sex life can be this thing where, like, imagine God just opening up the floodgates and raining down on you the most amount of sex that you can possibly think of. Like, I'm talking about abundance in the bedroom. That is what the original design of sex, how God originally created the sexual experience to be with our loving partners, is like having as much as we want. He did not intend for us to get married and then end up sexless like my husband and I did. That's not his original design. And for the Christian community, especially, okay, for the Christian community, especially, if you can imagine that God wants us to have his best for our health, for our money, for our mindsets, don't you also think that as a born again Christian, that God also desires for you to have the best sex life possible? He doesn't want you guys to end up sexless. That's not why he created sex. He didn't create sex for you guys to hate having sex and avoiding having sex and, like, just taking it off the table. Like, he did not design it to be that way, okay? So, I'm going to lay out some tips for you guys on how to have a killer sex life. The chat's open. We can talk amongst each other. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're on the live. Let me know if you're on the replay. I would love to connect with you. I also have a program called Sexify Her, where if you're struggling in your sex life and you're really wanting to strengthen your marriage and deepen your connection sexually with your partner, please check out my Sexify Her program. The details are on my page. You will see a link that goes directly to that program. I have had thousands over the last 10 years of men and women take that program, and they have seen their sex life go from 0 to 5 million. Okay. So if you are wanting to improve your marriage, enhance your sex life, spice it up, if you're wanting to learn valuable insights and techniques and discover new ways to create this lasting intimacy and connection with your partner, and you're just really wanting to add this adventure and to spice it up and all the things, Sexify Her is going to be the very thing that will help you. Just like it's helped my husband and I to pull us out of those 12 years of no sex. And it's helped tons of other people actually bring sex back in. Okay. So definitely check that out. All right. So here's my first tip. You guys ready? In the comments, let me know. Type the word ready. Type the word ready, and I'm going to see who is ready for the tips. So I'm looking on the comments. So let me know if you are ready for the tips. Just type in the chat ready, and we will get going. Okay. I see Tina is saying ready. Yes. And Angela and Lisa. Okay, let's go. All right, so the first tip that I have for you is you have to learn how to practice gratitude. Oh my God. Do you know how important gratitude is to establish a healthy sex life? Because if you're not having an amazing sex life, guess what the first thing that you do or that your mind does inside your head, right? If you're not satisfied sexually, what's the first thing that your mind goes to? Negative. Okay, you're like, damn it, this isn't working out. I want it to get better. I'm so frustrated. You go and tell your mom, you tell your girlfriends, you complain here and there. Okay, that's not going to bring in a better sex life. As a matter of fact, it's going to continue to make it worse. Okay, because it's the law of attraction, it's the law of manifestation, it's the universal law of vibration. So if you're vibrating at a negative level, you're going to attract more negative. And I wish to God that I knew and understood our universal laws that God has put in place, specifically designed for us to have this abundant life. I wish I would have known as a very young age that if I complained about my sex life, if I complained about my money, if I complained about attracting negative men. Like if I knew that complaining about these things was going to attract those same type of negative experiences and circumstances, I would have stopped complaining years ago. But I did not understand this universal law. Okay. So if you want your sex life to improve, you have to speak it as if it were. So gratitude is the thing that's going to do that for you. So let's say you're married. Let's say that right now you are experiencing a period of not having any sex with your husband, but you really want to have sex with your husband. So, what you need to do then is foster an area of gratitude so that the sex will come back in a faster manner. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing away the sex if you speak negative about it, or if you complain, or if you nag your husband and all the things. Okay. So what you can do on a practical level, okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this right now. You ready? Okay. So let's say that you're sexless right now and you want to bring sex back. In your journal, which I love to journal. So in your journal, what I would recommend is you take out a pen and paper, okay, and you just start to write, thank you. Thank you for all the sex my husband and I enjoy. Because if we didn't have sex and intimacy, I would feel lost and alone. I would not feel desired as a woman. Thank you. Thank you. So you're thanking in advance for the sex that you are going to have if you are sexless. Okay. Does that make sense? So when you're focused in the positive, you're allowing the universe and God to just open up the floodgates and allow more sex to come in. Is this making sense? In the comments, let me know if this is making sense. Okay. All right, so let me look at the comments, and welcome to all the new people. I appreciate you being here. So we're talking about gratitude and how when we foster this practice of gratitude in our life for our marriage and our sex life, we will bring in better sex, more sex, okay? It can't not happen. Gratitude is the guarantee of you having an abundant sex life. Gratitude is the guarantee to opening up more money to come into your bank account. I mean, it takes care of everything. Okay. So recognize and appreciate the efforts that you're putting in to have an amazing sex life. Recognize and appreciate the invisible efforts, because things are happening behind the scene that you can't see yet, that God has not brought in. So this is where faith comes in. This is where trust comes in, that as you put action in, and action is your gratitude every single day, you develop this knowing that better sex is coming in because you're practicing positivity in the area of your sex life. Okay. All right. So that is my first tip for you guys. All right. So, welcome in. If you are new, let me know where you're tuning in from. We're talking about how to have an amazing, sexy, healthy life with tons of abundant sex, as much as you want. So, we're talking about tips around how to have a healthy sex life today. And listen, if you're looking to strengthen your marriage and to deepen your connection with your spouse, please check out my Sexify Her program. This program has been around for 10 years, and I have a lot of experience with men and women on helping them to spice up their sex life, to overcome sexlessness, to feel more sexy and confident in the bedroom, to open themselves up to dance sexy and do all these little strip teases, and to have that level of confidence to draw in more times of intimacy with their partner. So if you're looking for that, please go and check out my link underneath my bio. It'll take you right to the program. I'll also put it in the chat when the live is over. So on the replay, you guys can go right to the link that I'll put in the comments. Okay. So I'll do that for you guys. All right. So let's go into the second tip on how to have a healthy sex life. Who wants a healthy sex life? Raise your hand, comment below, put the little hand emoji if you want a healthy sex life, if your goal in marriage is to have a healthy, long-lasting sex life, raise your hand in the comments. Let me know. Okay, amazing. All right. So the second tip that I have for you guys today is to embrace kindness. So if you want a healthy sex life, you need to treat your partner, your spouse, with kindness and respect. That is so important. The number one thing that I hear in working with men is the times that they don't feel respected by their wives, they have no interest in having sex with their wives. Men have also told me the times when they feel that their wife is not being nice to them, or is nagging them, or is putting pressure on them, or making them feel like a little boy, those are the times that they don't want to have sex with their wives. So, wives, now I'm speaking to you. It's very important if you're wanting to have a long lasting marriage with tons of intimacy and healthy sex, you have to treat your partner, your spouse, your husband with so much respect and kindness. That is attractive to them. So the more that you're kind, the more times that you're treating your husband with the respect that he is craving, the more that he will be turned on by you. That's guaranteed. This is what happened in our relationship. This is what started to bring in the sex back after we went through 12 years of having no sex. This is also what I have seen in working with men and women over the last 10 years with their sex life, is that the more the wife practices kindness and respect to her husband, the more often that her husband is getting turned on by her. Okay. All right. So that's my second tip. Okay, I'm so excited. Hi, everyone. Again, this is Heather, Christian sex coach. I'm super, super pumped to be here with you guys today. We're talking about tips for a healthy sex life. So far, I've given 2 tips. 1, practice gratitude. 2, embrace kindness and respect towards our husbands. Very, very, very important. I have a couple more tips that I'm going to be sharing with you today before we jump off of this live. So in the comments, let me know if you are ready and we will get right back to it. Also, I want to let you know that if you're looking for a speaker to talk at your marriage retreats, your single retreats, any type of woman event where the female is looking for ways to come into her relationship with more confidence, attracting her husband to want to have more sex with her, all of the things, if you're wanting a Christian perspective on sex and you would like me to come to your marriage retreat, I am available to travel anywhere in the United States. So I don't care where you're at. I have a lot of different times throughout the year where I speak at different events all over the United States. So if you are a part of a church, or if you host female events like women's events where they're wanting more confidence in their life, they're wanting to learn how to step into empowerment, how to become more feminine embodied so that they're showing up in their feminine. I do a lot of different talks on that. So reach out, go onto my website, sexcoachheather.com, and you can book a call where we can talk about your event. All right. I would love to be able to do that for you guys. Okay, so let's get to the third tip that I have for you today, is to cultivate unity. Now, this is really important because, yes, as husband and wife, we are both coming to our relationship and we do become one, like we talked about last week, where God designed marriage for us to cleave to one another, like he talks about in Genesis. But it doesn't mean that we lose our individuality. So God still wants us to foster time of self-care around keeping our individuality so we don't lose our personality. We still are going after the things that God has planted in our hearts as our own personal mission. Okay. So marriage does not take away from that. Okay. But at the same time, we're also remembering that we need to cultivate unity. So while we're cultivating our own individuality, we're also cultivating unity. So that means in a Christian marriage that we need to share in each other's joys and sorrows. Okay. We also need to see our spouse's achievements as our own, celebrate it as if it was something that we pushed for. And we also need to work together through challenges. This includes when we have challenges in the bedroom. This is so important. So while you might be individually frustrated, you still need to come together and have conversations about your sex life with your spouse as often as you can. So, if let's say, for instance, that you have a desire for adding in a certain position, spicing things up. So maybe you want to try a new position in the bedroom. Now, maybe you've had a conversation with your spouse, or maybe you haven't. If you haven't, of course, go and have that conversation with your spouse, because he or she is not going to know you want to try that new position if you're not actually asking for it. Okay. So have those conversations and then let them think about it. Don't put any pressure on them. Allow them to see if it's something that they're open to doing with you. So allow them to have that space. And then once they come back and say, yeah, like I do want to try this, that's you coming back together in a unified fashion in the bedroom. Okay. So you can't be married and still be individual with your desires in the bedroom. You have to learn how to foster having these healthy conversations about your sex life with the person that has married you and has said yes to you for life. Okay? So don't keep these things secret. Don't just talk about them with your girlfriends or with your mom. Get really, really good and comfortable with having these sex conversations with your spouse, because they're the ones that you want to have sex with anyway. So why would you only have those conversations with God, by yourself with God, or with just your girlfriend, when your husband is the one that you're wanting to actually bring this into the bedroom? You want to do this new position with him. So have this conversation with him. Allow both of you to be comfortable with trying these new things, and then give each other the time and space to either put it on the calendar or to maybe be spontaneous about it. Like if he comes home from work and then you shove him up against the wall or something and then you just start going for it. Okay. All right. So that was the third tip, is to cultivate unity. Okay. The last tip that we're going to talk about today is to avoid competition. Okay. Avoid competition. So this is really, really important if you're wanting to have a healthy sex life. You have to reject this idea of maintaining a strict balance in terms of responsibilities and contribution. Instead, both people, husband and wife, should give it their all without keeping score. This will help you guys to create an environment of mutual support. Now, this comes up a lot when it comes to initiation. So, who's initiating the sex? Does it always have to be the man? In the chat, let me know. Does it always have to be your husband that is the person that initiates sex? Is that the only way that you're ever going to get sex in your marriage, is you're waiting for your husband to always be the person to initiate? No, okay? This is a mistake that so many Christian women do. And I know a lot of this comes from because we were taught a lot, growing up. And then once we get married, and even our pastors, when they're standing on the pulpit, a lot of times they'll say that the man is the leader of the home and all of that. And while that's great, yes, but then as a wife, we're also waiting for our husband to lead in the bedroom. So we think that because our husband is meant to be a leader in our home, that means that we can't initiate sex when we want it. And I need you to know, as a Christian wife, that that's wrong thinking. That is worldly thinking. That is a thought process that society, it's man-made, has put on us. So you know how God says that we should not add or take away from scripture? This is one of those areas that the church has done a really horrible job at, because they have added this in. The Bible, if you go back and read the entire Bible, nowhere in the Bible does it say that the husband has to be the only person initiating sex in a marriage. It doesn't say that anywhere. That's something that has been made up, and we've taken that belief system on as our own. Okay. So to help yourself free yourself from that false teaching, you need to understand that God has this amazing way for our relationship to be, where it's this give and take. It's equal amount. So your husband initiates, but then you also need to approach him and initiate for sex as well. Because listen, your husband also needs to know that he's desired as well. He needs to know that you want him still after all the years of you being married. And then he also needs to approach you. So you can't be the only one initiating as a wife. Like, it has to be this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we're not keeping score of how many times that I've initiated and how many times you've initiated as a husband. Like, there's no score keeping. It is avoiding competition. This is so important in your marriage. All right. Okay. So those are the 4 tips today for a healthy sex life. Again, I'll review them. 1 was practice gratitude. 2 was to embrace kindness and respect. 3 was to cultivate unity. And then the last one is to avoid competition when it comes to initiating sex. All right. So I hope that you have loved this live. I hope that this has helped you. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions that I can answer about sex. I would love to stay here for a little bit and help you out. Again, if you're looking to strengthen your marriage and deepen your sexual connection, please check out my program, Sexify Her. This program is designed for women who are looking to improve their marriage and enhance their sex life by learning amazing insights and techniques. And you will discover new ways to create a longer lasting sex life and connection with your partner through that program. So I'll put the link in the comments as soon as we are done here on this live. But thank you so much. And I'm just going to see if there's any questions. So let me know in the chat here if you guys have any questions. I would love to be able to answer them for you. Otherwise, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys soon. All right, take care.